Hey guys, Tbull here. Today we got a game in the Veneto. This wizard on the screen, actually Pablo, the base Italian battleship commander. He's got the guys on. Looks a little bit different. We got full secondary build here. Greece, domination mode. You can always have a debate, when we're looking at ships like Bismarck, Missouri, Veneto, whatever you want to talk about. Where's the balance? In terms of maximizing the ship's performance, do we go all in on the secondaries? Do we do a little bit of secondary enhancement here and there, a little main gun enhancement here and there? And that's up to you as a player. My philosophy is I got so many ships in this game that the handful that it makes sense to really lean in onto a secondary build, well, let's just go all in on it, right? So we got secondary mods here. We got pretty much everything you can enhance with the secondaries. Veneto, not a huge distance on here. And keep in mind, I got very robust enhancements for my secondaries. But I think my distance is like 7.6, 7.8, something like that. Bismarck, for contrast, I think is about, 10 and a half, something like that. 10.8, 11.8. Can't remember. It's got a lot more reach, is the point. But if you get someone within your grasp of the secondaries on here, these can be withering attacks. These SAP secondaries, devastating, especially if the victim is a destroyer, in which case you don't have long to live, and we're actually going to see that later on in the match, I believe. But first off here, Greece domination mode, we're playing in between A and B. We do have one Yamato on the enemy team, not sure exactly where he is yet. We got a Des Moines. Got some dangerous stuff, so I'm going to try and get by this island here on the right-hand side of the screen, the middle of the screen there. We would like to get near that, just to take away the eastern half of the map. If we can cut down on the amount of ships that can shoot at us by half, 2/3, whatever it is, ideally we'd want to limit it to 1v1 at all times. Not always possible, but the more ships we can cut off, the better. So kind of being aggressive here, sometimes you get focused, moving this far forward, especially at this tier. You got a lot of backline Bettys, of course, who would be happy to watch you get killed from their seats in the back. But sometimes you got to do it. So got a destroyer on A. There's 2 destroyers per side. Nothing on B. Looks like red's on C. So the red aggressively capping the bases. Blue destroyers doing the shimmy sham. We have no idea what they're doing. Unreliable. We do have the Des Moines that we helped wreck earlier. Someone else, I think it was a Magi if I recall, blasted them into the sea. So getting rid of a Des Moines early. And this is a pre-nerf Des Moines. Supposedly they're nerfing that puppy soon. Came out of the box a little hot, no doubt. But getting that danger ship off the board, radar cruiser, fast fire, and high damage per minute, high damage per match type of a vessel. Get him out of there. Good play. Alabama, we're hoping to wreck him here. Looking on the map, he begins to turn away a little bit. And we always want to visually confirm what we see on the horizon and on the map. Okay, because we look at that, it looks pretty broadside. Sure, it looks like he's turning a little bit. Certain ships can be more deceiving than others, though, especially the really long ones. So if you can double check your shots, especially if you have a battleship or you got a longer reload like this, go ahead and visually confirm that. So Alabama is the target, kind of devalued now. He's about 45 degrees. Iowa, another target we have available. He's more or less pointing in at us. Black. Well, he's charging a radar cruiser and a destroyer, and by the way, we're going to get some shots on him as well. So questionable decision making here by the black. He was doing all right, kind of contesting the base. I don't know if he got radared and got flustered, would be my guess, or it's been a couple minutes. High tier destroyer players, not the most patient bunch. Maybe he's got stuff to do. Either way, he's gone. Now those guys on A have an opportunity to capture the base. C, we conceded, unfortunately. We got a Yamato who's God knows where. I don't think I've ever been that far back on this map. And then 2 other ships, a destroyer who didn't want to challenge the cap, and then the cruiser is probably quite frustrated with his lot in life, would be my guess. But anyways, that's not in play right now. We would like to get A, though. That'll freeze the score in the background. And then here we're kind of considering what to do. Okay, we're in a little bit of a stalemate here. I want to keep an eye on this Baltimore. Is he going to get kind of impatient, spring out there, able to blast him? But here we got an Iowa. We got the Alabama. They're within will to rebuild distance here. These aren't viable targets. Yeah, we can whittle them down a little bit, but if they're going to sit there healing each other, and they're angled in, they're angled away, these are low damage targets. So we pop the smoke. We say, why don't we challenge B? Well, doing that, we could potentially get some crossfires on those battleships up there. We can maybe get a crossfire on the Baltimore, maybe influence some of the stuff on the other side. There's the Yamato. Seems to be pretty well angled as well. But right here, we're just stalemated. We're not doing anything. Sure, we can fire shots every 30 seconds, get anywhere from 2 to 5,000 damage. Worthless. Try and figure out something else to do. If you find yourself in a situation where you're like, ugh, not able to do anything, besides just little chip damage here and there, look on the map, see what other plays we got. So the carrier will begin to notice us here. He takes kind of a fascination with us throughout the remainder of the match. That's his prerogative. But we're going to try and move into B. Now, when we move into B here, we want to get right on top, basically onto that island in the middle, because there's a lot of low-lying crevices there. We don't want these crazy shots from across the map coming our way, especially now with the Yamato. Defense is the key, and this is why I always kind of advocate early on in the match a battleship can viably take B. I would prefer, if I could control all the ships on a team, I would always send a battleship and maybe a cruiser here, never a destroyer, because you lose a lot of the spotting and other utility of the destroyer play. And if there's another destroyer in B on the other side of the island, you can't even counter the destroyer. So it's kind of a wasted play for a destroyer early in the match as an opening move. The destroyer coming in here from A to help capture, great play. That's not what we're talking about. That's outstanding. But, this is kind of a demonstration of why, you can get away with this. So we're going to basically be pinned on this island here for a few minutes, kind of playing defense. We're going to grab the base, see what kind of shots develop, and just see what we can do, right? Because as long as they're going to allow A and B to tick up, and then we're allowing C to tick up, that's a winning proposition, right? As long as the longer we can get that to be going on in the background, the more limited red team's options here. Here's a little bit of an issue. Alaska, yeah, he's low. He's getting beat up by the Yamato, and another Alaska tried to ram. Common mistake for people that are trying to ram, you're going to where the ship is right now. Okay, you got to be thinking to yourself, okay, I'm going to ram him in 20 seconds. Where is he going to be in 20 seconds? And go there. And it sounds simplistic. It sounds like I'm being a little sarcastic or whatever. It's actually a thought process that you should practice. It's the same thing when we're chasing ships around islands. I could go around the left-hand side of the island to follow him, or if I go around the right-hand side, when I catch up to him in a minute, I'm going to be more towards where he is rather than where he was when I'm planning this thing, right? So don't do that. I kind of missed a ram there, wasted an opportunity, which would have been a great trade. Low health Alaska for high health Alaska, outstanding trade. Iowa takes a vicious rip there. We got 5 shots with 2 extra overpens. Secondaries go off on the Baltimore. He is right within the edge of our range here. Thinking about the secondary consumable, but I'm thinking, okay, he's fleeing the range and he's about to be outside of it, so there's no point doing that. Return fire from the Iowa, excellent shot there. We had all 3 guns exposed, so we were expecting return fire. And the Iowa, generally more durable than the Veneto, so I don't know if I want to get into a long-term brawl with this guy. But what I'm going to do here, try and pin myself on the island, trying to be angled well enough that he's not going to be getting any devastating shots, most likely. And then we're hoping for spotting. And then we want these secondaries to just kind of begin to chip down on them. And then we'll see what we can do. Baltimore creeping out here. I'm trying to engage these guys once again, not quite as a 2 versus 1, but maybe a 1.5 versus 1. If I limit that Iowa's ability to do anything, or the Baltimore, you got to be thinking in terms of that. We don't want to be trading freely with ships. Baltimore, vicious shot there. Crossfire from the Yamato, I believe, or potentially the cruiser. I didn't see exactly where it was. Looks like it's probably the cruiser on the map here, but who knows. Anyway, now we've got the Iowa right at the edge of our range again. Baltimore targeting the nose. Alaska, holy God, where are you going, dog? Wrong direction. Anyway, so difficult fight at this point in time. Iowa here, I want to move forward. I want that the secondaries to rain down on the Baltimore. At this point in time, we got to be thinking, okay, we're probably going to die, right? We know that. Radar, sure, ram. Doesn't matter. We go ahead and select him as the primary secondary target. All the guns that can fire on him will choose to fire at him. And then we're just hoping for some lucky strikes, because he's whittling us down. This is a pure trade battle. Who trades us lower? I got about 12,000 health. He's got about 2,000 or 3,000. But if he gets good shots, maybe gets a fire or something, we are in the damage control cooldown. The fight could turn. Luckily, we do have a heal that comes up there. And Yamato takes out the enemy Alaska, which was great. And looking on the map now, I think it maybe was the Yamato that shot us earlier. I thought that was the Alaska. Anyway, neither here nor there. Baltimore goes down. I believe the Alaska to the south of them did get them. We got 2 destroyers zooming around. None of them going towards C. That's probably where I would be thinking about attacking if possible. If not, get in a good spot where you can spot these guys. Hopefully your team can get some free damage trades. Sailing around the south, I don't know. Not the most profitable play necessarily, but we'll see what they do with that. Iowa, once again, not expecting to win a fight against this, but we're going to target the guns here. We got the secondaries going off. Let's see what we can do. His guns weren't pointing at us. I don't know if he's aiming at someone else or he was doing the trick where when you're on reload, you turn the turrets. Less likely to have them knocked out, but we waited as he was retargeting us. And when they were about 10, 15 degrees from fully facing us, that's when we fired the main guns. Knocked one of them out, getting some support fire, getting lots of secondary hits, some of them doing damage, some of them not. We're never going to get fire damage from these SAP type shells, but we are getting good bonus damage. Okay, and you can see we're up to 125 now, not bad. Nearly double our ship's HP and damage, so it's pretty decent output for any battleship game. We'll see if we can push it up a little bit higher. More importantly, though, basically A and B have been running the entire time now. Okay, so you don't have to calculate it every time or every match, but at this point in time in the match, you could be saying to yourself, okay, we've had the 2-to-1 cap advantage for huge swaths of the game. I haven't been paying attention to the clock or anything, but it's probable that red is now forced to sink all of us, right? So at this point in time, what's my incentive to go haywire, take risky plays? I'm just trying to tie up these guys' attention, right? We're kind of chasing the Alaska off by our presence, or the team is in general, tying up the carrier, right? Because if they're dedicated to having to kill all of us, well, the longer he has to deal with me, just kind of bouncing off this island back and forth here, kind of hoping that my team will kind of clump up. I don't normally like to clump up with the team, but in this situation when we're kind of on the ropes late in the match, kind of trying to weather the storm a little bit, yeah, a little bit of clump wouldn't hurt. Okay, but we'll see what we can do. We're shooting down a few planes here and there. We got some good guy. I think one of our teammates at least had to clear skies earlier. So, again, we're just kind of letting the score go up here. And this is what you want to be doing, whenever you have that cap advantage and you've had it significantly long enough where the score, is favorable to you, just let it keep going, right? Red is the one who has to make the plays here. We don't have to make the plays. Getting spotted. Destroyer's out of here somewhere. We don't know where he is, but seeing if we can get some chip shots on the Alabama. I keep blasting the poor guys on the cliff there. Anyone watching the sea battle from that vantage, thinking it would be a pleasant afternoon, has been obliterated in the smithereens. Alabama, not so much. Not really taking any damage from those shots, so no harm, no foul from his perspective. But he's not having an outcome on the game, right? We don't care about him as a target. We're not going to focus on him anymore. The destroyer, yes. The destroyer's coming over here to freeze the cap, freeze the scoring, an essential first step of their potential comeback if they're going to have to do it. They need to freeze / take these caps back just to prevent the score from going over 1,000, and then they need to basically sink us all very rapidly. So long shot at this point in time, but if you're going to try and win, you got to do step one first. Seeing if we can get a shot in the Alabama. I'd like to get him off the board. Number one, he's obviously distracting destroyers and whatever else. Number two, why not? Get some more damage, get some more score. Mainly focused on the Maz. Do I have to kill him? No. But I'm thinking to myself, if I just sit here long enough, eventually he's going to come around here and suicide strike me. I'm going to be constantly being spotted by these planes. Oh, by the way, the planes might bomb me to death anyways. So there's no real reason to not... let's just assume we're going to die here. We got less than, looks like 2 minutes left on the clock. So because of the score lead, it doesn't really matter if the Maz nukes me or not. But I'm going to assume he's trying to do that, right? So we're trying to dodge the torps. Slammed on the brake, but I was approaching the edge here to kind of lure him into thinking, okay, battleship coming around the edge. I'm going to slam him with the torps in the side. Big boom. Explosion on the screen. Adrenaline pumping. Endorphins, everything. So, but we slammed on the brake there. He's already missed the shot. And we got our carrier zooming around there. So as soon as these are about to go by, we're going to go ahead and slam on the gas. And then we'll see if we can get him. Number one, we'd hit him with the main guns. That could be big booming damage. And by the way, if we can keep him spotted, these secondaries will chew him to shreds. And this is what we were talking about a moment ago. Carrier trying to ruin our fun. Fun police. Fortunately for him, I believe we dodged the torps. Couldn't really see him. These Soviet torps are strange. I guess he did hit us there, but whatever. No big deal. I'm kind of zoomed in, waiting for these shots to emanate from the Maz. Where are they? Come on. I know you're over here. So I got to zoom out. There he is. Okay. Now he's on the run. I don't know if he's getting radared or what, but we got the secondaries engaged. The main guns do a little bit of damage, but check these things out. Very vicious. Z-23, a lot of health to start with, but not a lot of health at the end of this exchange. He'll go down rapidly. We actually will get the close quarters here. And then I'm like, oh yeah, skip bomber. I forgot. We still got the flyboy here. Might get one more shot. Okay, so if he hits us with something, we're probably going to die, but maybe we can get one more shot off before the end of the match here. About 15 seconds left on the clock. Torps, that's a kill shot in my book. There we go. But with this last zooming shot in here, we actually do score the high caliber and secure the win for the team. So that's a look at the Veneto for you guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. New to the channel, consider subscribing. Lots of World of Warships coming to you all the time. Questions, comments, leave them below. Love to hear from you, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.